Hello, I am Jennifer Kavanagh. It is June 29th, 2021, and welcome to Between Worlds. I've been sitting with a dream for over a week now. I didn't think I was going to share it, but I'm being pushed to do it. So I'm going to share two dreams with you tonight. And these dreams are primarily about children yeah, I'm just going to share them. We'll leave it at that, and you can make of them what you like. So the first dream was one that I had last week, and in this particular dream, I was showing a man that I didn't know. I hadn't met him before, but I was showing this man around a town. So we were driving around, and I was pointing out places in a town that I know, but things I didn't actually know in the waking state about this particular town. So I remember pointing to a church and some roads and things like that. And he was nodding. He wasn't talking, but he was nodding in affirmation of what I was saying. And he was silent the whole time. And anyway, fast forward, this is one of these dreams that jumps, right? Where you're in a scene and then you're in a new scene and then you're in a new scene. So the first scene was driving around and I was pointing things out. And had the sense that this guy knew some things about what was going on. And in the next scene, I was at school and I was picking up children from school. And I don't do that in my real life. So it wasn't a replay of my day or anything like that. And what was interesting was this school where I was picking up children was actually a church that I knew from my childhood. So it was a school in the dream, but I recognized it as a church that I used to go to. And anyway, so I'm picking up the kids. All the parents are going in and they're picking up their kids from school. So you go inside, pick them up from the classroom, and you bring them outside and take them home. So as we're coming out the door, I have kids, holding their hands coming out the door. There's these announcements being made. If your child is wearing a white shirt, you need to go to the gym. And when you go to the gym, you get an addition to your body. So interesting now having to find new words for things. So you get this pointy addition to your body. And I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And of course I have kids in white shirts, and I see, as I'm coming out towards the front door, a lot of parents, taking their kids to the gym. So you have to go to the gym to get this done, and people are just following the rules. And I come to the front door, and there's these two men that are guarding the door. And one of the men is the man that I was showing around. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Why is he here? And anyway, he appeared to be in a different role. So it wasn't, even though it was the same man, I could tell it was a different context. And so I kind of looked at him and I was like, hey, how am I going to get out? Because I'm supposed to go to the gym, but I'm not going to the gym. So what am I going to do? And I went around his back. So you're walking out, think of it, right? A whole bunch of people walking out of a line, out of a school. There's two people at the door, right, that are kind of directing people. And instead of going between those two people, I went around his back. And as I did so, he looked at me, didn't say anything, and just looked back to the center. So essentially he let me walk by. And as I walk by, I suddenly felt powerful, I guess you could say. And I started yelling to the other parents, you don't need to do this. You don't need to do this. You can just walk out. You can just walk out. You don't have to do it. And everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. And I started to walk towards my car with the children. And now, as I'm walking towards the car, suddenly I'm walking in an underground parking lot where before I was outside. So now I'm in this underground parking lot, but we're just walking towards the vehicle. And as we walk towards our vehicle, there's another car parked beside ours with a woman sitting in it with the window down, nothing out of the normal there. And anyway, she looks at us and she pulls this gun out and she shoots what you could describe as a tranquilizer dart at one of the children. And the dart just grazes the child's chest and falls to the ground. And I realize what's in this dart, and I start screaming to the children to hide, to duck, to hide behind the car, because I can see the woman is getting another dart already. And the children were in shock, so they just froze and they weren't moving. And in a split second, I made the choice to run towards the woman, towards the open window, and I started hitting her because I didn't want her to shoot the children again. And I did so until she couldn't attack them anymore. She wasn't dead, but I was hitting her so that she was knocked out. And then I quickly got the children in the car and we started racing back home. And when I got there, I was sharing the story with somebody else of this is what happened and this is what I did. And they were like, no, you didn't hit the woman. Now they're going to really come after us. Now they're really going to come after us. And that's when I woke up. So I don't like sharing this dream because I don't like sharing things that are kind of fearful and scary. And there's not really a lot of positive stuff in that dream, to be quite honest. But I have been told that this dream is not just for me, that there is some messages in here for some other people and parents as well. So I'm putting it out there. What concerns me about that particular dream is there is a Simpsons episode, which has been very interesting to watch over the years. But there is a Simpson episode where Bart is being followed and there's this tranquilizer type gun that's trying to be shot at him as well. So to me, there's something there to that particular one. And, interpret it as you will. It's a dream, so who knows? Maybe it's all symbolic. And then the other dream I had the other night, which was interesting, is I had to go back to work. So I used to have a corporate job, right? And for many, many years, and I've had some very interesting organizations over the years. And so I had to go back to work, and that's something I've sworn I would never do. And it's my first day returning back after not working for like 6 or 7 years in that environment, in that particular job. And government, it was one of my government positions. And anyway, so it's my first day job, and it's like, they do the orientation and you're doing your paperwork, and the whole time I'm just like, why am I back here? I don't understand why I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? I don't want to be here. Why am I forcing myself to, I was so confused about why I would do this. And then my next line of thoughts was, I don't even remember anything I did. It's been like 8 years since I've been here. Like, you're going to have to retrain me in everything. You're just assuming I remember everything, and I don't. So they're showing me around and I'm having all these emotions. But what was interesting is I also recognized in this that in the past, when I was in those environments, when I was in that career, right, that there was always this fear when I would go into work of like, I'll do the wrong thing and then I'll get fired, or, something will happen and I'll get fired. So I have to, mold myself to do that. And this time I was there like, why am I here? There was none of that fear. There was a different element of choice and empowerment in being there, even though I was still very confused. Anyway, that's not the weird part of this dream. What is weird about that particular dream is I'm in this cubicle farm, as I used to call them, right? So I have my cubicle, they're showing me my cubicle, which was actually really tiny. And there's all these other cubicles, and we all face in towards one another. And there was a woman that was a couple cubicles down, and she had this little child, looked to be like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old, but she was kind of treating it like a baby, and was like, it's okay, we're going to take care of you. And she was like brushing the child's hair and holding it like a baby in a workplace, okay, a corporate workplace. So that's already abnormal. And I looked at her at first thinking like, well, why is there a child here? Like, normally children don't come to the workplace, this kind of workplace anyway. And I realized that the child was actually a robot, or a cyborg, you could say. And then I got really confused. Okay, so you're talking to this robot like it's a child, like it's an actual child. And what is very interesting is you're very concerned about the emotions of this particular robot. And so I started looking around thinking like, does anybody else think this is weird? Like, is anybody else noticing what's going on here? And nobody did. In fact, a few people came over to talk to the child slash robot, and also talk to it as if it was a human being, and seemed to respond to it and interact to it exactly as a human being. And that is all I remember from this particular dream, but it has stuck with me. I keep landing back in this particular space. So there's a couple of things there, and again, I'm going to leave the interpretation up to you. But there's been a lot of dreams lately centered around children, and some dreams centered around, I guess you could say, adaptations to their physical form. So I don't know for certain what that is about, but I would say it's something to be aware of and something to be paying attention to as we move forward in time. Or who knows, maybe we'll start moving backwards now too, because we now know time is not linear. So I hope you're all doing well, and we'll chat soon. Take care.